Welcome back. You're still here with us tonight. We're getting lots of your feedback regarding the conversation with retired Chief Justice David Maraga. He's already talked about what sort of working relationship he had following the nullification of the presidential election of Uhuru Kenyatta. And of course, now the next thing up was the appointment of the 41 judges, which remains unresolved to date. So, does the retired Chief Justice believe that the President is acting within the law, the confines of the Constitution, when it comes to his refusal to appoint those 41 judges? Back with Joe Ageo and retired Chief Justice David Maraga.
One of the more contentious issues that remains unresolved even after you've left the office is the issue of the 41 judges. Unfortunately now 40 because one of them has since passed on, sadly. What was that about? What really happened? Why were those people not appointed from where you sit? Because it appeared very clear that, you know, there was a whole JSC process that happened, and the president was then to make the formal appointment, and then it didn't happen.
Joe, when you apply to be appointed as a judge, there is background work we do. We write to all the agencies, government agencies, NIS, CID, the prosecutor, the DPP, the AG, even the civil society, and say, look, give us anything you know about, and show us any cause why this person should not be appointed a judge if he passes the interview. And we get a lot of views. We get a lot of views from the Law Society, from, all the other agencies. We even seek clearance from income tax, whether this person is paying tax or is not paying tax. So we do that diligence. In the case of the 41 judges, when we in the course of doing the interview, we found that we had not received any communication from the national intelligence. Before we tallied the results, we discussed it, and the commission said, look, why don't you find out whether or not these people have anything to say? And I took it up. I was told, we have something to say. I said, look, can you do it immediately, because we wanted to finalize this exercise. And then the answer comes and says, look, ABCD, we have issues with the ABCD. He said, look, which issues? He says, no, we can't give you the details of the issues. And then we were now tongue tied. I put that before the JSC. Article 47 of the Constitution requires that when you make those allegations against somebody, you must give particulars, and they be given an opportunity to defend. Because they could easily be frivolous allegations against somebody. They could be, somebody whom you have had an issue with, and you didn't agree, would want to stop you from getting the job that you passed, and you've been interviewed and passed. So when we were not given those details, we said there is no way. JSC doesn't work like that. You may have very valid reasons, but if you have not given them to us, we don't have a choice but to go ahead. What reason will we give this person who has passed the interview? Why we can't take him? He can even take us to court, and we will have no defense. So we went ahead and made a recommendation to the president. The Constitution requires, upon the recommendation being made, the Constitution doesn't give the president the choice. He has to appoint in accordance with with the recommendations. The rest is history. Up to now, they have not been appointed. They are saying, look, we can't appoint people with integrity issues and so forth. Integrity issues which have not been made public even up to now. They have not been given to me even confidentially as the Chief Justice. That's the position. And we stuck to our guns. The JSC stuck to its guns and says, look, we can't do that. There was even talk which came, says, look, why don't you agree we appoint the others who have no issues and you leave this. That would be the end of the judicial independence. Because then you would open a way for the executive or anybody else to say, Joe has questionable issues. Which issues? No, I can't tell you, but he has questionable issues. Don't appoint him. The moment if I allowed that, I would have completely ruined the recruitment process of the JSC.
So now that appears to be a violation of what is clearly spelled out in the Constitution, is there any recourse, or do you think that perhaps the Constitution should have been even more prescriptive than it already is with regard to the appointment of the judges, especially after the Judicial Service Commission has finished its part?
Joe, that is a constitutional duty placed on the president. The president says, I can't appoint because there are issues here. Which issues he doesn't want to reveal. People have gone to court. Do you know that there are 3 court orders directing the president and even giving him a time frame? And he has not appointed. As far as I'm concerned, that's a violation of his constitutional duty. In fact, I would say if it was in other countries, the president would be impeached for that, because he swore to defend the Constitution, to uphold and defend the Constitution. If you have failed on a constitutional duty that which is placed upon you, I mean, the recourse for the president would be impeachment. But that doesn't happen in jurisdictions like ours, and that's why it has persisted on up to now. So
right now, who can Kenyans turn to? I mean, we heard you speak, and everybody gets that point, but the judges are still not appointed. What would be your reflection on how that issue should be handled? The
Kenyans have representatives in Parliament. I believe there is a provision for which Parliament, if it wanted to, can use to impeach the president, so that everybody is held accountable. You know, some people, what I hear out here is that the president cannot be sued or what. The president is sworn. The president, the legitimacy of the president's power is from the Constitution. The Constitution which he swears to uphold and defend. So if he fails to defend the Constitution as required, I mean, some action has got to be taken against him. And for me, that is impeachment. Yeah. Now, so if the Kenyan people were to ask the person, they should direct their question to Parliament. Why have you let the president flout the Constitution?
Now, as we move closer to finishing, one of the things I've heard some people say when they review what your legacy is something that happened a couple of years ago about the transfer of some judges, where I think Justice Odunga was transferred to Machakos, and I think there was Chacha Mwita and all of these people. And they were saying these people are being transferred because they have made rulings that are unfavorable to the state. You may have had those allegations. This might be a good place to talk about those transfers and whether at all they had anything to do with the decisions that the judges were making, or whether there was any pressure to transfer judges of that nature.
Joe, if I don't take pressure from things like the presidential election, how can I take pressure from a transfer of a judge? Just Odunga had stayed in I can't remember whether it was in Constitutional or Judicial Review Division for over 6 years. The judiciary policy is that a judge should stay in one station or one division for 3 years. The reason is very simple. You want to give this judge a break from doing this, so that he can also do some other work. So that every judge is able to handle matters in this division or that division. The policy is 3 years. Odunga had stayed there for over 6 years. So when I transfer him and I can see an uproar that it's because Odunga is doing this, I just laugh. You just laugh.
Now let's talk a little bit about Maraga, the person. During that presidential petition, for example, you invoked the name of God when you were giving the final verdict there, and that was not the first time. To what extent has your faith and personal principles impacted how you have run your career as a jurist, but also in this position as Chief Justice?
Joe, I don't know about you. I believe you are a Christian. Your values, you have Christian values. They are taught across the board. The issue is how you view them yourself. The way I look at issues is that honesty is one of the cardinal issue that you should have. When I took the oath of office required me to decide cases without fear or favor. If you are not honest in your decisions, then you are favoring somebody. You see what I mean? You are favoring somebody. You are being dishonest to the person you are ruling against. That has guided my work. Bring your case. Is there evidence to show that this person wronged you? You have proved. I am under obligation to give you orders to give you relief because you have been wronged by this person. If I don't do that and I go writing a lot of English in the judgment to find a way of reaching a decision that I have made without the law, that is being dishonest.
Now, as you go out, there is a whole conversation about whether the Constitution should be changed or not. And one of the things that even you have spoken about publicly is a certain proposal about the Judiciary Ombudsman, which many people have said, especially in legal circles, could have implications on the independence of the judiciary. What specific threats do you see with this if it were to go through, the introduction of an ombudsman in the judiciary appointed in the manner as prescribed in the BBI document that we have been seeing?
It will throw the independence of the judiciary to the winds completely. An ombudsman appointed by the president, and I have had a discussion in the media, who will have powers to deal with cases of individual judges, including the Chief Justice himself. He is appointed by the executive. That's like a prefect appointed by the executive to regulate the operations of the judiciary. If we had that kind of ombudsman, after the 2017 elections, I would have been thrown out before the end of the year. And that's a fact. There is nothing more fundamental than that. The Judicial Service Commission is given that power, and it has done it. It has performed it very well. It has performed that function very well. As I told you, it is the Judicial Service Commission which has, it is the judiciary which has dealt with the issue allegations or against its officers more than any other institution. Why? The Judicial Service Commission is representative. You have representatives of the judges and magistrates there. You have representatives of the of the law society, 2 of them. You have representatives of the public. You have representatives of the public service there. It is one very, very neutral institution. Why do you want to take that power from there and give it to the ombudsman? Why do you want to do that? In fact, the BBI process, the way I understood it, is we are having problems with all the power in one person, or a winner takes it all and the others are there. What has that to do with the judiciary? to bring in this. And Joe, go back to your records. Who is making the recommendation? The recommendation is not coming from the judiciary. The recommendation is coming from other arms of government. Why is that so? The simple answer is that the other arms of government wanted to control the judiciary. They want to control the judiciary. The judiciary is not concerned with what happens in the Parliamentary Service Commission. The judiciary is not bothered about who the president appoints as a cabinet secretary or a permanent secretary, unless there is a case brought to the courts for the judiciary. I mean, somebody is challenging an appointment of somebody. Why are the other arms of government interested in the affairs of the judiciary? Simple. Control. You have an ombudsperson. All you need to do is to make an allegation against a judge. When it is pending there, the judge is hearing a case. you get information says, oh, saidia hapo hata wewe utasaidiwa, unaona ile complaint against you. That's what I'm talking about. The moment you allow that, the moment the Kenyans allow that, know that you have no judiciary. You know that you have no judiciary. And I'm shocked. I must say I'm shocked that, very, very prominent lawyers were involved in this, and they can't come out and say that. The other thing, Joe, which for me is worrying, as the immediate chair of the National Council on Administration of Justice, is the removal of the security of tenure of the DPP. This amendment seeks to repeal Article 158 of the Constitution, which gives the DPP security of tenure. How are you going to fight corruption when you have exposed the DPP? And this article was put in the Constitution deliberately. You remember when the AG used to conduct prosecutions? Some prosecutions were just, were political. They were. The actions of the AG were political. What? Some of them were political. Some they would start, and in the course of
prosecute that.
Yes, they go on for a little while. When they have achieved their end, they enter and only prosecute. Total abuse of the process. So to remove that from to give the Kenyan people decided to give the DPP security of tenure. Remember, he's appointed for 6 years, and his term is not renewable. For the period is there of 6 years, he has got to be independent so that he can take appropriate action to prosecute crime. When you remove that, you expose him. You know, these people, when you have been appointed to a position, you plan your affairs to run for that period. You have children in school, you have your affairs to do. And we are individuals. So anything interfering with that term will obviously affect you. How do you expect the DPP to order, for example, the investigation of a cabinet secretary, when he knows that the following day he is going to be hounded out of the office? So for me, that is a very serious amendment, and it to a large extent throws out of the window the fight against corruption.
So the person who is coming in after you, whoever they are, what do you think will be their most important job? Now that you've been there, you know what's unfinished, you know what the challenges are. What would you say is the single most important job that your successor will be confronted with as soon as they enter that office?
The one of disobedience of the court orders. Joe, when you are in a civilized system and a court order is disregarded, it is shocking. It is shocking. The rule of law, the basis of the rule of law is that when a court has decided a matter, an aggrieved person appeals, and when he has gone through the appeal process and failed, that is law. He has to comply. It doesn't matter who. If you have not appealed, it means you are satisfied with the decision. So when a court order is made and you disregard it, that is terrible. Particularly when it comes from government officials. A government which has sworn to uphold the rule of law and is not obeying court orders. You are, I mean, now asking the aggrieved party to take up arms and get a relief. That is serious. So what I would ask of my successor is to continue pressure on that and ensure that court orders are obeyed. The other thing is the operationalization of the Judiciary Fund. As at the time I left, discussions were at fairly advanced stages to open the Judiciary account and have the Judiciary budget deposited in the Judiciary account. And Joe, because I said I live in this country, I realized the constraints, the financial constraints the country is in. This is something we have discussed, and we have even told the Treasury we are not going to insist that the entire Judiciary Fund be deposited on 30th of June, be deposited in the Judiciary account. The things like salaries can be paid at the end of every month as we move on, but the operational expenses, those ones should, and the development, so that the judiciary is able to plan, should be deposited there.
Finally, you're out of the judiciary now. What next for David Maraga?
I want to take a break. I have not taken leave since I came to the office of the Chief Justice because of the pressure of work, and even before, I had not taken proper leave. So I want to take time and rest. After that, I want to write my memoirs and take life easy. That's what retirement is all about. If you get opportunities of mixing, if you get opportunities of, I mean, in my church, the lay persons are requested to speak on some issues, and I'm sure I will be asked to speak on that. I will be happy to do that. I mean, I have in my position as CJ, I've been invited to schools, to universities, to just speak to the young people. That is what I would love to continue doing, and tell people, look, you can do the right thing and still remain in your place of work. And that's what the law, and that's what God requires of us.
Wow, yeah. Thank you very much.